Welcome back, guys, to a new live day trading episode. My name is Julius. I hope you're well. We are back in the S&P 500 future. Right off the bat, please make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're interested in live trading, I upload a new trading session every Saturday. All right, let's get right into it. Market opens in 2 seconds. Here we go. Market open is there. We have a range day. The tops are approximately at 88.5. A little higher if you would count the wick. The lows without the wicks are here at the 54, 55 approximately. The lowest point of today's market is actually here at the 50. So let's see which point will be hit first. I will short the tops and buy the bottom. As always, this is always my first trade entry. This is what we're gonna do. Let's take a look at the footprint. We have some imbalances here. Value area high here at the 87. But I want to see a test of at least the 87.25. That would be good. So the value area high would probably be a good point to enter the market. That would be here. So maybe we are able to get this price. So today we have a 30-point range, quite a big size. So let's see if we are able to get into a good entry. I hope you had a great trading week so far. We're trading 5 micro contracts here again. That equals an amount of $25 per point. And then let's see. So now we are selling off. Maybe this could take a while until we are at one of my point of interest, but those are the locations where I want to enter a trade, not before that, because I think in the middle of such a daily range in the pre-market, in the European session, everything is possible. Occasionally the supports and resistance hold strong and the market finds an obstacle at those locations, and on other occasions the market is just going right through it, selling off or building up without showing any interest in all of the supports and resistance that you're going to find in the European session. So therefore I'm just going to wait for the extreme points of the day to be hit, and then I enter my first position of the day. This is what we're going to do here today again. Let's take a look if the volume is there. 17,000 contracts, not that much here today in the first candle. Also the volatility is not that big here. Let's see if we are able to break through this imbalance. But the buyers definitely have a hard time, even though the delta is still bullish here, which means that there are more active market buyers than sellers. The candle is quite neutral, so there are a lot of passive market sellers up here putting in their liquidity, their sell limit contracts, and therefore the candle is now selling off. We are almost in the last minute of this first 5-minute candle. This is a 5-minute chart. I'm most of the time only looking at the 5-minute chart. I do not care about the daily or the 1-hour chart or whatever, because the bigger picture is not that important for my day trading setups. You may trade completely different than I do, and you may want to locate yourself on the daily, on the bigger picture first. That is totally okay, and do whatever you want to do. For my purpose, it's totally enough to look at the current day, the price action, the European and Asian session, and then here at the US Open, find myself some good trading entries, and then I'm totally fine. So it seems like this candle more or less is a doji, and we will see the second 5-minute candle soon. Here we go. So a little bullish candle, not that big, and also the volume, the overall volume that has been traded in this 5-minute candle is not that big. 24,000 contracts. That's very little volume, very little market participants trading here today. So I don't know quite why, but most of the time, usually, if you go back to the last trading day to the market open, let me find that real quick. We had a volume of 30,000 contracts, and on some occasions we even, let me show you the day before that, because on some occasions we even get way more, like 50 or 60,000. We can take a look at that now. Also 38. Okay, last few days not that big of volatility, but you will definitely find a lot of days where the volume in the S&P 500 future on the first 5-minute US Open candle is about 50 or 60,000 contracts. Not today. We have to live with what we get here, and we have to work with that, and that's what we're gonna do. So now we are already selling off. I did not have a chance yet to get into the position, to get into a sell position here. As I told you, I want to wait for more or less the tops being hit. Doesn't need to be a tick by tick, but more or less in this area I want to short the market at the daily highs, and this is not what we got here. So maybe the market is first of all selling off, which of course be a pity to see the market completely selling off without being on board of that, but sometimes that happens. Sometimes you are not able to get a good entry, at least with my system, with my setups. Maybe you have been a little more successful and already were able to get into a short position with your setups, with your rules. So I think I'm going to be quiet for a second, and we're going to wait here together until the market is coming to one of our big structure points, big extreme points where I want to enter the market. So let's see. Okay guys, what is happening here actually? We are selling off so rapidly. This is what I'm talking about. Sometimes the market is not finding any supports in all of those little areas that usually are support levels here. So this is really interesting. We are just selling off, and on the one hand it's really a pity that we are not on board, but I did not have the chance to get into the market since we almost started this sell-off at the point where the market opened. Okay, but on the other hand, it's really interesting seeing this, and this is the reason why I'm not buying any lower, but really at the bottom of the day. And this is what may stop out all of those buyers who are buying lower and lower and lower. And the only time I am buying a falling market is at the low of the range. Other than that, I would never buy a falling market. If we are breaking out of this range, I would never buy a falling market. And in between the tops and the bottom of the range, I would also never buy a falling market. Those are my strict rules. But of course, if you are a range trader, inevitably you have to buy falling or sell a rising market at some point if you want to trade the extreme points of the range. That's a little exception to this manifested rule that we really should go with the trend and not against it. So, but we are not there yet here, okay? There's still some points missing, and also this point of interest that I put in is in theory not the lowest point of the range. So to be really exact, the lowest point is here at the 50.25. So that would be all the way down here. But from my experience, I know that oftentimes the market will find support earlier because those candle wicks, those big long candle wicks, may not count so much. So maybe we already missed the possible entry here, but I'm saying like, okay, at least this point of interest should be met, and then we can take a look how the market is behaving down here. Oh, this is really close. Okay, and I'm gonna buy here at this point. This is where I'm gonna buy 5 micro contracts, and I have to agree it's a little far off from my stop loss, since there is still some way to go to the overall low of the range. But as I told you before, on a lot of occasions, the market will find support earlier than at the last tick of the candle wick. So the close of the body of the candle body oftentimes weighs more, means more than the candle wicks, okay? But you have maybe to try that for yourself. So we want to have the stop loss actually at this point, at the 50, because the micro and the mini differ here a little bit again, because the last tick of the candle wick in the mini is at the 50.24. So we want to have the stop loss one tick below at the 50, and this is where it is. And for now, my entry is really, really great. So I almost got the last tick here. Let's see if it is able to remain like that, or if the market will test lower lows. We never know. We can take a look at the footprint for a second, what's happening here. Okay, we have actually bullish delta for now, and that's quite an interesting little detail, since we got such a big sell-off with very negative delta, and now we got this little bullish one, but buyers are really trying to defend it, but the sellers are going for it, pushing lower and lower, so it might be hard, and we might even break lower here. This is an interesting fight here. I'm looking at the delta here, and now we broke to negative delta. We broke through. Well, let's see if the candle is also breaking lower. Yeah, and here we go. And there are some imbalances. What do those imbalances mean? Those are stops, guys. Those are stops that have been put in. So maybe this is a stop fish and the market can go long now. Maybe the big institutions wanted to fish those obvious stops, and now is the time to go higher. That would be a stop fish, and it actually might look like it. Okay, delta is still negative. 17 seconds left. But that was interesting to see here. Those imbalances here on the ask side, those were the stops. But I also have to make sure that I'm not stopped out here, because my stop loss is not too far away. Okay, we are not stopped out, and we are closing more or less where I entered. That's where the candle is closing, more or less where I enter the market. So we actually fished some stops, and now it's gonna get interesting. What happens now? Wow, this is a rapid rising market. I'm not the biggest fan of those fast rising markets, because usually if a market is too fast, it may be sold off equally fast to equalize this bad auction, this big push. But we do not have an unfinished auction. Oh yes, we have. We actually have an unfinished auction here. This price level was not traded on both sides, and only the buyers had a chance to buy on this price level. That is usually not a good sign, but we'll see. So oftentimes those rapid rising markets are being sold sold off again. So let's hope that this is not the case here today and we are able to go higher. I'm still very happy with my entry, even though we couldn't have gotten a better price here down here, but this entry is still totally fine. If we take a look at the big picture, today's range, we really bought here the lows and have plenty of room to go higher. I'm also deleting this point of interest here now, so we are in the market. Of course, it would have been also very nice to participate on this big sell-off, but as I told you several times, I was not able to get into a position. And now this is what I'm talking about. Maybe now we are seeing this big sell-off. This is quite hard to recover from. We are already printing quite a big candle wick with the tops being a tick by tick exact top here with the previous candle. We're building the same. And now the chances are quite there that those imbalances maybe are being traded again and being equalized. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Those rapid rising markets, they are usually being sold off again. I'm seeing this several times. I would say only like 2 out of 10 rapid rises really are able to last. And here we go. We sold off everything. Now we have maybe the potential to build up a sustainable lasting push, or now the sellers are too strong and are just pushing lower. Those are the two outcomes that we are maybe seeing here. I hope for the first one, so that we are now able to really build up a lasting push higher, but the sellers are quite strong. What are we seeing here? What can we analyze from the footprint? I can repeat myself. The footprint chart is not necessary for my setups. It's just nice to look at. And what I can see from this picture, from this candle with this delta information, is a lot. For example, I can see that we had a delta shift. So this is the first candle with bullish delta now, and actually quite a lot, almost 800 contracts in difference here on the delta. The difference between the active market longs and the active market shorts is a positive 800. There are a lot of market participants who trade active market longs. So why is this candle still so little? Because we have a lot of passive sellers. The passive sellers are not reflected in the delta, so we can't see them here, but we can see them from the difference between the candle and the delta. So delta is very bullish, the candle almost negative. That means we have a lot of passive sellers here putting in their sell limit contracts above the current market price. And every time the candle is rising, those sell contracts will be activated, pushing the candle lower again. This is what I can immediately identify. So for what is that necessary? It isn't necessary at all. I will still trade my strategy. As always, I will still have my stop loss here and get stopped out once the market is closing underneath it. But it's just nice to understand what is currently happening in the market. Maybe you can try to think about what this might mean for the next candle, for the future, for the next 10 minutes in the market. Or maybe you're just gonna acknowledge that this is currently happening. This is what I'm doing. I'm not trying to take anything away from it or to make an assumption that because this happened, the next thing that is gonna happen is this and that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm just taking a look at it and acknowledging, okay, this is what currently is happening. Same scenario again. The buyers are trying their best, but the sellers are putting in their contracts, their sell limit contracts, making it a hard time for the market. If we would have had Bookmap or some other heat map open, we could also identify if there is a big liquidity somewhere in the market, and I can almost be sure that there will be a big liquidity underneath the lows here. That is almost certain that there's a big liquidity underneath. Maybe the liquidity will be hit. I do not hope so. I hope that the market will continue with the range and will rise steady. But look at that. There was a big short order now. The delta is really shifting to negative and we are still right at our entry price. But maybe this is the time that we will be stopped out in this candle. This is actually possible. Again, some imbalances, again, some stops. What gave me some hope is that we clearly had a stop fish. And then the market started to rise. And again, here some stops have been hit underneath this bullish candle. A lot of buyers had their stops underneath here. But this is not looking too good for us. Look at how negative the delta is. Now, also a lot of active market sellers are in the market and less active market buyers. So quite a big fight down here. And this is not looking good for our position. We're probably going to be stopped out here. So now we actually made new lows for the day. Again, there might be the chance for a stop fish. The candle is now going long. Maybe also the liquidity that was perhaps laying there had been hit. Now there might be the chance for the buyers to come back in, but doesn't look too good for sure. In order for this to be a valid reversal, we might even have to close above the low of this bullish candle. So at least somewhere here at the 54. We need to close here for this to be a valid reversal, okay? But the sellers are just too strong. Yeah, the delta is increasing instead of decreasing over time. Come on, buyers, last chance here now. Almost the last minute of this candle. Give me something spectacular spectacular. Otherwise, we just have to reverse the position to a short one. That's also a possibility. Come on, sellers. Don't be so strong. That was actually a good push here. Last minute. Can we stabilize above the 54? Oh, doesn't look too good here. So this is going to be a close one. So I'm going to also put in the stop loss in the mini to really make sure that I know if I'm stopped out or not. This is what concerns me now, because I know that this is going to be a close one. So we really want to make sure to not be stopped out. So the mini and the micro could differ from time to time. This is why I'm now looking at the mini here. So the ES future, not the MES, and put in my stop loss here as well. But for now, it's looking quite good. Last 5 seconds. Okay, the candle close. Could have been better, could have been worse. And immediately the sellers are testing lower prices. This is what we can see immediately. But we also are seeing that there is for sure bullish buying power coming in from below. This is very obvious, okay? We have some bullish power coming in from below. There are some candle wicks here. Now the question will be, when are the buyers strong enough to break the value area low? Okay, get back into the range here. This is what I want to see. And it's going to be a hard time. So I'm going to wait here together with you guys and I get back with you in case we are getting stopped out or if we are seeing some good profits. Okay guys, 10 seconds until this candle is closing. Now let's talk about this candle close for a moment. This is actually really good for us. We are not quite able to really break the tops of those previous double top here, but this was kind of an exclamation mark, also engulfing pattern of the previous candle. The body of this bullish candle completely engulfed the body of the previous bearish one. So this is looking quite good. Now is the time for the buyers to really keep going, to still break higher. This is what we want to see. You can also take a look at the 15 minutes for a second, because there's something interests me. Okay, still take some time. I still got 10 minutes left here on this candle. I was kind of curious if you get an engulfing pattern here as well, but this has nothing to do with my approach. For now, this looks very good here in the 5 minute. We'll still keep going and hopefully we are able to break the tops. Ooh, yes. Here we go. This is a sufficient break. So now I'm going to hold on to this position for a little longer. Maybe the market is going as fast as this previous candle did when the market sold off. Okay, but I think this might already be the point where I end today's live trading session. Right now, I'm just holding on to this long position. The big fight, the hard work is over. I commented on everything that I saw here and the big fight is over. Almost $300 in profit. I will hold on to this long position for as long as possible. You know the deal, guys. I'm pretty satisfied with the entry. $300 in profit is also a good amount. I could now close the position, step away with my $300 and the day would be finished. But you know my system, you know my rules. I'm always speculating on a trend day. I will hold on to a position for as long as possible. Almost $350 now. This is looking really, really promising. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for your support. We see us in the next episode. Leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Write down in the comments what you think. Thank you for watching. This was a hard fight down here. I could now step back with $300. I will hold on to the position for a few more minutes, hopefully till the end of the day. We'll see us next time. Take care of yourself, guys. $350 reached. Bye bye.